and welcome to the Creative Frugal Wonder Woman. I'm Jan McKee, and I am so glad to be here at the Great Lakes Scrapbook Event with all of you. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself to get us started. I have been teaching scrapbooking, card making, and coloring for over 20 years. In 2010, I opened a scrapbook store in Frankenmuth, Michigan. In 2011, I ended up going to Chicago and becoming a certified Copic instructor, and I just fell in love with those Copic markers. Those alcohol markers are the best, and it allowed me to take my instruction to a whole new level, so I started teaching classes right away. Unfortunately, like many of you know, the market for scrapbook stores changed drastically, and it just became harder and harder for the small business owner to stay in business. So in 2014, I closed my store. This last year during the pandemic, I realized how much I was relying on my going back to creating and using my markers as a source of therapy. As I've always done, it's been such a great tool to use in times of stress and frustration, and haven't we all had a little bit of that this last year? So I am just really glad to be here and to show you what God put on my heart in the summer of in 2020. He put on my heart to start teaching classes again, that we need to all be having something that can give us a creative outlet and a way to de-stress in such a crazy world right now. So first I want to tell you about my Copic 101. This class you will receive 5 sheets of instruction where you'll learn all about why Copic, why we choose Copic markers, and the history behind them, color theory, and 3 of the basic instructions. You'll also receive a blank practice sheet that we will do along together with the video. Then in my Copic 101, when I was teaching classes at my store, I found that so many of my clients would go home and they wouldn't practice, or they would forget how we did a certain technique. So I developed my step-by-step instructions that they got to take home with them every month, and this quickly became a hit. So when God laid it on my heart to do this, I immediately went back to my instructions and started doing those again also. So during the Copic Club, it's only $7.97 a month. And for that, you will receive an idea sheet. These are all colored, so colored copies of idea sheet, my newsletter that you'll get the marker list of the markers that we used, and also the stamp set that we use. You will receive a color copy of the step-by-step instructions on how we colored this stamp. You'll also get a hand-stamped image on Copic friendly cardstock, a sample piece of maybe cardstock that I've used as a coordinating colors. This is the demo or the sample card that I made, so I sent along some cardstock with it that you could then have everything you need to put together a card with just some plain cardstock. Each month I add in different color families and techniques so that you're really able to save these sheets and build your reference libraries, so that as we continue, you will become more and more comfortable with using your Copic markers. This is a gift that just keeps on giving, and I just absolutely love it, because then you'll gain the confidence to create beautiful cards that you will then send to your loved ones, and it'll bring just such a smile to their face, and we could all use a little extra smile now and then. I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to change the camera around and give you a little demo of what a Copic Club video looks like and what you can expect when you receive your kit. Get your stamped image, and I've stamped with Memento ink, so we know that it's going to be all ready for you to use your Copic markers. And you're going to get your instruction sheet, and it clearly says right here we're going to do R24. We always start with the lightest color first, so R24, R27, R29. And you can see how I've given you the lines, and I don't blend this one so that you can see clearly where the lines are. But in the video that comes with your kit each month, we're going to go over it together so you can follow along with me there. So R24, we're going to go ahead and just go all over, cover the base of his hat. And I just love doing penguins in the winter. And one thing about this is that there are lots of penguins and snowman stamps. And this way you can take what you learned during this class and use it on other penguin and snowman stamps. So next we're going to do R27, and we're just going to kind of follow the line, leave a highlight there at the top. I always try and imagine the sun coming from the upper right corner onto my image, so we're going to go ahead and leave this highlighted area light. So we're going to bring some R27 down around there, and then with the third red we have R29, and you remember to use these little hash marks and the little details from the stamps. They often tell you where the highlights are going to be. So in the crook there, along the band. And then you always want to follow up with your lightest color. In this case, it's R24, and blend over the whole thing so that we're getting rid of any of those harsh lines and blending that together. Okay, so now we'll go on to step 2, which is his scarf. We're going to start with the BG13. With the BG13, we're going to go ahead and do the whole scarf, even those dots. These little guys. So next we're going to go with BG15, and here we're going to color everything but the dots, the polka dots in our scarf. So we're going to create those lighted dots by going over the rest of the area with the middle BG in our color group here that we're using. That's the knot of the scarf, so we'll go ahead and color that. And then I went ahead and did these ends here. So like I said, this I used this on a Christmas card, and it was so nice to have the matching die to go with it. So I didn't have to cut him all out. Okay, so now we've got those highlighted dots. Now we want to create the shadowed areas by using the BG18, and as you follow along in the instructions, you can see that I've added it right there where the stamp indicates where there would be some shadowing. By the knot where he tied his scarf here. That's where you would naturally see it to be darker. And I'm sure the sun would be hitting here under his chin, so we'll make this a little bit darker also. And then you're just going to want to follow it up by going over with your lightest color, the BG13. Now you can do one of two things here. You could go ahead and do the whole scarf again with the BG13, or if you wanted those dots to stay real light, then just do the main part of the scarf and blend that 13 and 15 together. And then those dots would stand out even more. Okay, next we're going to do his beak and his feet. We're going to start off with YR12. We're going to do the base, the whole thing, his feet and his beak. And then we move on to the YR16. And remember, light's coming from this the light source, so we're going to do about half of his beak with the YR16, and then using this little detail on the stamp, there would be some shadow from his body, so make that a little bit darker. And then again here we see the detail from the stamp showing us, indicating that that's a darker area there. And then a little bit, go a little bit closer to the edge with the YR18. Just to create that real good shadow there. And then you again want to follow up with the lightest color, this being YR12, to blend that all together. Next, we're going to do his cheeks. Now for this one, it's a little bit different. We're doing R32, so this is not a natural blending family, but this is a great technique for cheeks, especially on little penguins or snowmen. We're going to do just a small little dot for his cheek, and then we're going to bring in our R01, and we're going to blend out slightly, go beyond that. And that is just so adorable. This would be great for little kids out in the snow, or any little snow baby, snowmen, anything like that. This is just a great little technique for little rosy cheeks. Okay, then we're going to do some shading and shadowing for whites. First, we're going to do our penguin. We're going to come in with BV, oops, look at there, I did the sketch, or the chisel end. We want the brush tip. I'm going to use BV01, and I'm going to come up here above his eyebrow. And the penguin is white, so we're just going to go ahead and we want to just highlight this white. So we're going to come down with this purple, the BV01, and then we're going to use our E41, and we're going to go over the BV01 and then overlap slightly, and that really tones that down. Just really add some shading, but yet letting us know that that's still white. But purples and blues are great for shading when you're dealing with white. So now we're going to go ahead and do the BV000 for the white around his cap. So on here we're going to come on the side and towards, so imagine the cap is kind of hanging over, that white is hanging over his head a little bit, and then we can add some shadowing on the snow or the pom-pom of his hat, maybe some coming up from here, and then we're going to go over that with the B000. I hope you'll join me on Facebook at the Creative Frugal Wonder Woman. You can also find me at janmckee.com and on YouTube at janmckee. I especially want to give a big thank you to Kate and everyone here at Great Lakes Scrapbook Events that makes this event possible. I know many hands are involved in this. And oh, by the way, you can get my Copic 101 class for free just for joining us here at the Great Lakes Scrapbook Event. Go to the link down below, and when you click on the Copic 101 class, when you go to checkout, just enter the promo code GLSEJAN 2021. Thanks again, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye now.